of homes sold in Toronto and the surrounding area fell in 2018, along with the number of new listings hitting the market, as home buyers and sellers grappled with the new reality of higher interest rates and stricter mortgage rules. The Toronto Real Estate Board says there were 77,426 residential transactions recorded last year, and that's down 16.1% from 2017. The board says the total number of new listings was also lower, pulling back 12.7% last year. Meanwhile, the average selling price for all property types in the Greater Toronto Area fell by 4.3% to $787,300. On their first day in the majority, last night, U.S. House Democrats passed a plan to reopen the U.S. government without funding President Donald Trump's promised border wall. The largely party-line votes came after Trump made a surprise appearance at the White House briefing room, pledging to keep up the fight for his signature campaign promise. The Democratic package to end the shutdown includes a bill to temporarily fund the Department of Homeland Security at current levels with $1.3 billion US dollars for border security through February 8th, as bipartisan talks would continue. The resolution was passed by 239 votes to 192. A man police say is a person of interest in the deaths of 3 young children in a Texas apartment has given himself up and is in custody. Houston police officer Ben Starr says police received a call late last evening from a man who identified himself as the person being sought, and he wanted to surrender. Police apprehended him peacefully in Houston. Starr declined to identify him but said he is 27 years old. Earlier yesterday, police in Texas City discovered the bodies of 3 children, ages 5, 2, and an infant, in an apartment there. A woman was found with a gunshot wound to the head. She is in a hospital. While battling for top spot in the division, the Soo Greyhounds beat the Sarnia Sting 5-4 last night at Progressive Auto Sales Arena in Sarnia. Keegan Houdshell scored at 2 minutes and 47 of overtime, and Matthew Villalta made 27 saves. A group of Canadian lawmakers traveling to China this weekend will use the trip to push for the release of 2 Canadians detained there since last month. The boss of one of the imprisoned Canadians said all Canadian travelers to China ought to be doing that. Michael Kovrig, a diplomat on a leave from Global Affairs Canada and employed in Beijing by the International Crisis Group, and the entrepreneur Michael Spavor were arrested last month in China. The arrests are widely viewed as Chinese retaliation for Canada's arrest of high-tech executive Meng Wanzhou, Huawei's chief financial officer, by the RCMP in Vancouver at the request of the U.S. Conservative MP Michael Cooper said the delegation will engage with Chinese officials in as constructive a way as possible, with the obvious objective of seeing 2 Canadians returned safely and as soon as possible. The Edmonton area MP is joining 3 Liberal MPs, a Liberal senator and Conservative senator, on the previously scheduled trip that is being funded by Canadian taxpayers. Cooper acknowledged there was discussion about whether the trip would go ahead given the current tensions until the leader of the delegation, Liberal Senator Joseph Day, was briefed by the Canadian Foreign Ministry. The U.S. State Department updated its travel advisory on China yesterday, urging American travelers to exercise increased caution because of arbitrary enforcement of local laws, as well as special restrictions on dual U.S.-Chinese nationals. A spokesperson for Foreign Affairs Minister Chrystia Freeland, who's named Adam Austin, said parliamentary delegations are independent and can make their own travel decisions, adding the department provided a pre-trip briefing to the participants. On December 31st, City Police arrested 32-year-old Tyler Seaton of Albert Street East on an outstanding warrant for possession of stolen property. Police say that on October 26th, the accused and 32-year-old Thomas Kidder from the Soo were in possession of a .22 caliber rifle that was reported stolen from a break-and-enter earlier in October. It's alleged that Kidder was in possession of other pieces of property that were reported stolen from a number of other other break-ins. Seaton has been charged with possession of stolen property and several firearms charges. Meanwhile, police are still looking for Kidder for multiple offenses, including 6 counts of possession of stolen property and 6 more firearms charges. On January 1st, city police officers arrested 28-year-old Aaron Strachan of Pawading Place and 30-year-old Monique Lambert of Finn Road for possession of stolen property. Just after 12:30 p.m., officers saw Strachan driving a vehicle with Lambert in the passenger seat. The vehicle had been reported stolen last April, and the two were taken into custody. Then, officers found a sawed-off 12-gauge shotgun inside the vehicle and a small amount of a substance believed to be crystal meth in the possession of Mr. Strachan. Both individuals have been charged with possession of stolen property and several firearms charges. Strachan has also been charged with carrying a concealed weapon, possession of a controlled substance, and 1 count of breach of recognizance. They were both held for bail court.